government of the Islamic Republic of Iran to put an end to this manifestly unjust discrimination. Thank you.
Next speaker is Human Rights Watch. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. In spite of a clear mandate to prevent human rights violations, the Human Rights Council has demonstrated a clear lack of efficiency when fundamental rights are gradually restricted. In Bangladesh, Bangladesh has been heading down an increasingly authoritarian path. Disappearances and arbitrary arrests of opposition party members, closing down critical media, and arresting and charging editors and bloggers, journalists and civil society have become more common since January. Thousands of opposition members and protesters were arrested, and unknown numbers remain in custody. Many opposition leaders have chosen to leave the country or to go into hiding. The authorities have failed to take sufficient steps to protect bloggers expressing atheist sentiments, leading to the brutal murders of 4 of them this year alone. There are ongoing crackdowns against those seeking to form join unions in the ready-made garment sector in the aftermath of the collapse of the Rana Plaza. The security forces, with extrajudicial killing remain frequent, continue to enjoy near total impunity. In Russia, the government continues to pursue an unprecedented crackdown on independent critics. For the 4th year in a row, Parliament adopted laws and authorities engaged in repressive practices. Authorities used an infamous 2012 law that demonizes groups that accept foreign funding to smear them as foreign agents, and almost 90 NGOs were in such case, including the country's leading human rights group. At least 13 chose to close rather than bear the stigmatizing and untrue foreign agent label. This year, Parliament adopted a law on undesirable foreign organizations that authorize the extrajudicial banning of foreign organizations that undermine Russia's security, defense, or constitutional order. Russians who maintain ties with those NGOs or share materials with Russian audiences face penalties ranging from fines to years in detention. In addition to the deteriorating human rights situations in Bangladesh and Russia, the Council has continued to leave the dire rights record in Egypt, China, Uzbekistan or Azerbaijan largely unaddressed. We urge the Council to show greater resolve
I'm
to
sorry,
make it more responsive
the clock
to the needs
wasn't
of victims.
running, but it's 2 minutes is over.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. The next speaker is Shimin Gaiku Center. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am Takeshi Onaga, Governor of Okinawa Prefecture, Japan. I would like the world to pay attention to Henoko, where Okinawans' right to self-determination is being neglected. After World War II, the U.S. military took our land by force and constructed military bases in Okinawa. We have never provided our land willingly. Okinawa covers only 0.6% of Japan. However, 73.8% of U.S. exclusive bases in Japan exist in Okinawa. Over the past 70 years, U.S. bases have caused many incidents, accidents, and environmental problems in Okinawa. Our right to self-determination and human rights have been neglected. Can a country share values such as freedom, equality, human rights, and democracy with other nations when that country cannot guarantee those values for its own people? Now, the Japanese government is about to go ahead with a new base construction at Henoko by reclaiming our beautiful ocean, ignoring the people's will expressed in all Okinawan elections last year. I am determined to stop the new base construction using every possible and legit such means. Thank you very much for this chance to talk here today.
Thank you. The next speaker is International Fellowship of Reconciliation. You have the floor.
Buenas tardes, señor presidente. Good afternoon, President. The International Fellowship of Reconciliation, a Colombian civil society organization, wishes to greet this august Council. Colombia is experiencing exceptional conditions. We, as civil society, are committed to bringing an end to a 5-decade-long internal conflict. Pursuing the peace negotiations in Havana, committed also to ensuring that the FARC is part of the process. In order to bring an end to the armed conflict, there's a need for all measures to be taken to dismantle neo-paramilitaries, drug trafficking gangs and criminal gangs. We have called for the rehabilitation of all of the victims of the conflict, stressing the need for peace to be built on a daily basis by overcoming differences in belief, attitudes and actions. We have developed resistance and cohabitation methods seeking to focus on development, democracy and collective actions towards substantive change in cultural, economic and political terms. We wish to restate our demand for nobody to leave the negotiation table before the definitive agreement can be reached. There's a need for rapid de-escalation of armed conflict with a view to bringing about its swift end. The support and backing of all of you will be essential and will remain so if we are to achieve a peaceful Colombia that is able to observe human rights and respect life and diversity. A Colombia that is pro-life, pro-diversity, pro-social justice and pro-reconciliation. I thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is a joint statement, Lawyers for Lawyers and others.
Mr. President, United Nations General Assembly Resolution 60/251 reaffirmed the Vienna Declaration and decided that members of the Human Rights Council shall uphold the highest standards in the promotion and protection of human rights. Some of the Council's current members, including Saudi Arabia, have persistently failed to do so, threatening the integrity of the UN human rights system.